Okay, still got no turnover. As far as I don't have any spark yet either, but first things first. Thanks to the YouTube channel Scooter911, gave me some insights on how to check the starter system. Still don't know all I know yet. Don't understand all I know. I did take a turn the key on, take a pair of needle nose pliers, put it on the two terminals in there, bypass the starter solenoid, and the turns over fine. Pulled this plug. Now I'm not sure exactly what I found there. I got 12 volts there, ground there. I'm not sure what this one is. This scooter, you must depress the right brake. It has a switch in it. I checked the continuity of the switch, and that is working. I don't seem to have one on the left side, even though the owner's manual says depress left or right. I can't find any switch hooked up in there at the moment. I have to verify that it's not somewhere else. However, the one weird thing I noticed, which I'd show you other than the fact that I dropped the tail light bulb, the tail light appears to be on all the time. I turned the key on, I got both elements lit on that center brake light, which would be right in there. I don't think that's right. The second light is for the brake light. When you hit the brake light, the second element comes on. The running light's on all the time. So I took it out and dropped it, so I have to get another one of those. But that seems weird. The brake light appears to be on all the time, so maybe there is another switch on the left side and it is shorted out. However, that would mean that it would start all the time if that was an issue holding it up from turning over. So that's where we are so far. Still trying to figure it out. Okay, so I have broke down and done something that I was trying to avoid to do. It is May 27th, maybe? Friday evening, 2022. A long and winding journey. I've tried to find out how to troubleshoot this thing as far as the ignition system goes. And I was working on my Maximo ECU problem, which I still have not solved yet because I have to get the thing flashed and I'm having trouble with that. But the only way I found to anybody's talking about on the internet is troubleshooting these things. Now there was a couple, there was one video where I ran some resistance tests on thing, and everything seemed to work out as far as the coil and the stator assembly, which I don't know where it is, buried in here somewhere. It's liquid cool. But they were basically saying, okay, here you do, get a bunch of replacement parts and just start changing out the parts. Well, that's not the real way you do things, but I've changed the coil and the wire, and I just said, well, what the heck, what's left? There's a stator and an igniter box. What's the igniter box go for? It turns out it's only $19.25 from a Chinese outfit. Well, I didn't want to do that, but hey, it's a Chinese scooter, so there's a whole bunch of eBay stores, a bunch of different names on them. They're all from the same time period, which is not too long ago, and they're all in Walnut City, California or whatever. But $19.25 delivered plus tax. I decided, what the heck, I'm not getting anywhere on the other thing. This is the igniter box. Interesting enough, it says right on there, which is key to matching them up here, I guess. 7,500 RPMs. Digital igniter is what it says. So to me, you know, it's like, well, you want to find the right part. Well, it's got 8 pins. So going on the internet and the eBay store, it says 8-pin igniter box. You can see it's all potted. There's no way to test that unless you have some kind of equipment. So I got one of those. Comes in a box. Got that number on it for whatever reason. And despite what they look like in the pictures, now some of them you look in the pictures, it says it's the same thing. Actually has the connector over here, and I kept looking at it to see if maybe it was because the picture was backwards or whatever. It does have some kind of little mark right there, that brand name, and with that weird thing in it. Anyway, I matched one up in the picture. There it is. It has no markings on it. It's like a knockoff of the Chinese knockoff. It's got the 8 pins. Everything looks to be the same, pretty much exactly. So I'm going to plug this one in, pull my plug wire out, and see and pray and hope. Hopefully I'll get lucky and I'll have spark, and I can continue on the journey of this thing. It's held up one project out the door. I'm being held up like a capacitor. And I'll just kind of hang out here in this little well, which is really interesting because it's open at the front, which is not what you would want to have opened up to the outside. Just dump on all this stuff though. Reservoir for the coolant. So let's give that a try. Let's take all this crap out of the way, and I'll hope and pray. At least, if nothing else, it eliminates the igniter box. I'll have a new igniter box, new coil, and plug wire, and see what's left after that. You know, I hate to admit, when these guys talk about this stuff, just start replacing parts, but now I'm gonna have to do a whole segment on this. Good, fantastic news, what I can say. Oh, thank God. New ignition box. What do we got? Oh, gotta pull a thing. Sweet! Whatever, I have spark. Now I can go back, I don't know, 10 months, start over again, plug that sucker in there. Now I can deal with the carburation issue. This drives me crazy. So, to review, I replaced the, what all did I replace? This coil dealie that's attached to this plug wire. And I have another old part sitting over there, which I'm not sure, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with this thing. I lose track. And the igniter box. And the igniter box apparently took care of it. I hate to think about replacing things like that, but apparently that is the hot ticket. Just start replacing parts. This was $19.25. I don't remember, this thing was only like 10 bucks or something for that. Put a new spark plug in it for a few bucks, and it seems to have returned me back to the sparking world. It's bizarro that this whole thing, when I first got it, it started up not very well. It had fuel issues. I dealt with some of the fuel issues, got it running, wouldn't idle, so I cranked it up, but you know, the carburetor's gunked up and stuff, so I did not take it apart. I just ran some carburetor cleaner stuff in the fuel, hoping that when I got it running long enough it would clear it out. Decided to take the carburetor off and then spray it down real good. I pulled the bottom of the bowl off of there, sprayed it all up into all the passages I could get at. Not the greatest thing in the world, but better than just doing what I did originally. Put it back on there. I had it running. It had to kind of keep it revved up 1500 RPMs or whatever the heck it was, and it overheated on me. Didn't get any kind of warning or anything, but the temp gauge went way up on it. I realized most likely the thermostat's not working. No big deal. But then I think I actually took the carburetor off after that and squirted it through there and put it back on there, and I went to start it back up again. It wouldn't start, it wouldn't turn over, couldn't do anything with it. Turns out, if you watch these videos, that the starter switch had completely failed. I had to dig through this whole thing, a whole nother freaking nightmare of stuff. Put a new aftermarket starter switch, which I have a video on. Fix the brake light thingy over here. So in order to start these, you have to have one of the brakes depressed or it won't start, because it's an automatic. Also had a kickstart kill switch, which this one had been disconnected already, which is bizarre. It only has 800 miles on it. But the idea, of course, and I'll go over this again, and the thing is that if you have it on the side kickstand and you start it up, if it didn't have the brake lockout on it and that kickstart, you could start this thing up, being it's an automatic, give it some gas and spin it right around and fall right on top of you. Safety issues. So anyway, it looks like the hot ticket, if you don't have any spark, start with the spark plug. Then you can go to the igniter, the little coil thingy here. Next, for the igniter box, like I said, I actually checked my stator on this thing. Continuity, it sees as a two, what wires are this blue and this yellow wire, and if you run a resistance check on them, you can see it goes up into here. On the air-cooled ones, there's just a little cover. I'm assuming it's kind of the same thing here, except here is an oil dipstick. So it tells me if you're going to get to the stator, it looks like you pull this cover off and dump all your oil, which doesn't make any sense because it means the stator would be in there somewhere. I don't know what the deal is inside there. I hope I never have to find out. Anyway, it looks like at this point, returning to ignition, took the igniter box. Oh, well, the reason I started getting into this bizarro thing is because all this stuff started happening. It's had around for a while. Why the igniter box go out all of a sudden after I had it running, who knows. The starter switch fell apart after I was already using it at age. So there you go. We're back to trying to assemble it and getting this thing fired back up again. I'll probably do a, well, that's probably a summary of the ignition problems right there. All right, hopefully I can get this thing going now. At least get it started, at least, and work on its running issues, carburation issues from there, because now I got part of this stuff that I didn't even know was broke taken care of. All right, good luck if all that's your issue. I'll get some details on where I got the parts and whatever, and do a little clip on that. Oh, I cannot tell you what this is like. Put a little starting fluid in there, put some gas in the gas tank. Holy moly! Listen to that. Not if I do anything other than, well, I got no tax, so it doesn't matter. If I do anything other than idle? Nope. You know what? I'm just going to let it idle for a little bit. And just listen to that. And revel. Woo-hoo!